When it comes to spicing up your dishes, chili-based seasonings are often the first things we reach for. Two of the most common forms are chili powder and chili flakes. On the surface, they might seem pretty similar. They both come from dried chili peppers and can add heat and flavor, but in reality, they're quite different in both composition and culinary use. Understanding these differences can completely transform how you cook and elevate your dishes. Today, we'll break down what makes chili powder and chili flakes unique, when to use each, their history, and even a few tips on how to store and handle them to get the most out of their flavor. Right here, on History of Simple Things. Before we dive into the culinary differences, it's interesting to look at how chili powder and chili flakes came to be. Chili peppers originated in the Americas, primarily in regions that are now Mexico, Central America, and northern South America, and have been cultivated for thousands of years. When Spanish explorers brought chili peppers to Europe in the 15th and 16th centuries, they quickly spread across Asia, Africa, and beyond. Chili powder, as we know it today, became popular in the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It was initially created as a convenient way to season dishes with a mix of ground chili and complementary spices, particularly in Tex-Mex cuisine. Chili flakes, on the other hand, are a simpler tradition that likely dates back to the earliest methods of preserving and using dried chili peppers. Crushing dried chilies into flakes allowed cooks to store them for long periods while maintaining heat and flavor, making them popular in Mediterranean and Asian cooking. Over the centuries, both forms evolved, but their fundamental purposes, chili powder for integrated flavor and chili flakes for bold, direct heat, have remained consistent. Chili powder is actually a blend rather than a single ingredient. While it may sound like it's just finely ground dried chili, most chili powders available in stores are a mixture of ground dried chili peppers, cumin, garlic powder, oregano, and sometimes even salt. This means that when you use chili powder, you're not just adding heat. You're adding a complex flavor profile that has earthy, smoky, and slightly sweet notes, depending on the type of chili used and the specific blend. The heat level of chili powder can vary widely, but it's generally milder than straight chili flakes or pure ground chili because it's blended with other ingredients. Chili powder is a staple in many cuisines, particularly in Tex-Mex and Indian cooking, where it's used to create depth in sauces, stews, and spice rubs. It's versatile, but because it's a blend, the flavor it imparts is more uniform and integrated into dishes rather than giving a sudden kick of spiciness. Chili flakes, on the other hand, are much simpler and more straightforward. They are made by crushing dried chili peppers into small, irregular pieces, often including the seeds. This makes them more potent and significantly spicier than chili powder. Because chili flakes are essentially pure chili, they bring heat and texture to a dish rather than complex flavors. You'll often find chili flakes sprinkled over pizza, pasta, or stir-fries, where they add a sharp, fiery punch that hits your taste buds immediately. They're also great for marinating meats or seasoning vegetables, especially if you want a burst of heat without altering the fundamental flavor of the dish. One of the advantages of chili flakes is that you can easily control the heat level. Just sprinkle more or less according to taste. But unlike chili powder, they won't add additional seasoning or aromatic elements. The differences between chili powder and chili flakes really become clear when you start cooking with them. Chili powder, because it's blended with other spices, works best when it's cooked into the dish. For example, when making a chili con carne or a curry, Adding chili powder early allows the flavors to meld together, creating a rich, cohesive taste. Chili flakes, however, are usually used at the end of cooking or as a garnish. Adding them too early can cause the delicate flavor to dissipate and sometimes makes the dish overly bitter. Another key difference is texture. Chili powder is finely ground, so it dissolves into sauces and soups, whereas chili flakes retain a noticeable texture that can create small bursts of heat as you eat. So if you're looking to add warmth without changing the texture of your dish, chili powder is ideal. If you want a bit of crunch and a spicy kick, chili flakes are the way to go. Another important consideration is storage. Both chili powder and chili flakes lose potency over time, but because chili flakes are less processed and contain more oils from the chili seeds, they can lose their heat faster if not stored properly. Keeping them in an airtight container away from light and heat is essential. Chili powder, with its blended spices, tends to have a longer shelf life, but the added spices can also lose aroma over time. For the best flavor, it's recommended to replace both every 6 months to a year, depending on usage. Freshness matters because stale chili products not only lose heat, but can also develop a bitter or flat taste that undermines the dish you're trying to create. So which one should you use? The answer depends entirely on the dish you're making and the flavor profile you want. If you're cooking a stew, soup, or anything that benefits from a complex, integrated spice profile, chili powder is probably your best bet. If you want a bold, direct heat that hits your palate with a little crunch, go for chili flakes. Some cooks even use both, chili powder for depth and chili flakes for a finishing kick. The key takeaway is that understanding the nuances of these two ingredients allows you to cook more intentionally. It's not just about heat, it's about flavor, texture, and timing. A simple sprinkle or spoonful can completely change the character of a dish, so knowing when and how to use each can elevate your cooking from ordinary to exceptional. So, next time you reach for a chili-based seasoning, consider what role you want it to play in your dish. Are you looking for a subtle layer of flavor, or do you want a fiery pop that hits the tongue immediately? Knowing the answer will make your cooking more precise, enjoyable, and delicious. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.